Hey everybody, this is Heartless Spartan with another 1/18 scale Toy Talk review. Today I have the Joy Toy Dark Horse Jianghu Warhorse figure. Now these aren't my first Joy Toy figures, but these ones are still widely available, and in some cases they're still on sale. So hopefully this review can help you know what you're getting. I will say that Joy Toy makes some pretty neat stuff, but isn't without its own quality control issues, but I haven't run into anything that hasn't been too worrisome. Normally I don't review animal figures, but I thought these horses were really cool. They are fully articulated, and are at one of my favorite scales that I do collect in. I do have to mention that they do not come as a set. Each color variant needs to be purchased separately. I just figured it would be helpful to have all three basic versions in one review. I do know that there are a couple more deluxe versions, but I haven't sprung for those yet. With that out of the way, let's get into the review. Alright, so let's take a look at these horses. So we'll actually look at the middle one here first. I was hesitant to get these at first, because I thought because of the different articulated pieces it kind of made them look weird, but I actually got over that very quickly. Let's take a look at the details and articulation on these. Now, they're all like the same kind of horse. They're just colored differently. So the articulation and the shape of like the saddle and that's all going to be the same. The colors are just different. Okay. So these have like some nice detail on them. Nothing actually fuzzy or furry on these. They're all made out of like a plastic or like a rubbery plastic. They don't have like shiny eyes. This brown one actually has a white stripe down the front of it. But it does have a lot of like shadowing detail on it. And it gets darker down around the hooves. Kind of wish these ball joints did not have numbers on them. Tail's got some nice casting. I just noticed the butt on this. I'll go over articulation in a second here. I just wanted to get a good look at the detailing on this on camera. And even the saddle looks kind of nice. Alright, so I mean, there's not too much to say about the detail on this. It just looks like a nice plastic horse, I guess. But they do look really cool. They work pretty well for photo, for like toy photography, which I took a few pictures. We'll see that in the montage. I'm going to talk about. Let's talk about their accessories here. This saddle and the stirrups. No, that's what those are. The reins. There we go. Saddle and reins. So these are actually removable. Now to get the reins off, I found that I have to pull off this ear first. Or not the ear itself, but pull the reins over them and then slide that off. And then the saddle, it has like these little kind of rubbery buttons that just kind of undo like that. And that saddle comes right off. I'll talk about those and putting those back on after I talk about the articulation here. So this is indeed a highly articulated horse figure. All of these ball joints are actually pretty good. Give us a pretty good range of motion, and if you want to turn them around and break the horse's leg, then, I mean, we don't want to do that. But we can get a great amount of posability out of all the articulation that this has, even in this leg joint and the thigh joint up here that bends. And these do turn too. Like they rotate. we look here, even up here in the shoulder, and then this joint allows this to move up under here, and there's like this little breastplate here that shifts according to the neck and maybe parts of the shoulder plates, and it's just kind of reversed on the other side, along with back here. And the hindquarters kind of shift as needed, and the mid-waist is its own piece as well. And then our tail, depending on how you have your horse posed, you can have it just kind of walking where it's at rest, or like you can just kind of flip that where it's like running, kind of blowing in the breeze. Now, something I do have to mention about the articulation on this, and a lot of their product photos, they have the neck of the horse kind of upright, and I discovered that I really do not want to do that, because if we look in the joints here, I can move it down and move the head and the neck and the throat as its own piece that kind of shifts in there. But it's the back of the neck and this hair piece that I'm worried about, because this little hair piece has this little ball joint in there. And if I move this up, there's actually a piece in the upper back here that actually goes up underneath that and will push and shift that. And what has happened on another one of my horses that I've gotten, that is one of these, it was just another one because I bought multiple, that actually snapped, that broke, and that no matter what I did to try to set it in there and keep it in there, it just constantly fell out. So it was missing that hair piece, and it looked like it was missing a chunk of its neck, which just did not look right no matter how I tried to fix it. So I only ever put the horses' necks up to that height. I don't try to stand them up any higher because I'm afraid of breaking that piece on the inside and then it just looking not right. The only other part that I'd be particularly worried about is the same kind of ball joint peg on the tail that just kind of looks a bit flimsy as well. But other than that, these other ball joints and pretty much all other articulated points of the horse have held up very nicely as I've been kind of manipulating and posing the horse. But those are the only two things I've been worried about. And that's the only thing that's broken so far. Now, taking the reins off, I would be kind of worried about kind of bending the ears too many times and then the ears just eventually flexing and breaking off. So I wouldn't recommend taking off the reins too many times unless you get horses where it's like, well, I'm just going to keep the reins off, and then horses where I just keep the reins on. But otherwise, I think these are fantastic. They look wonderful. And these are perfect for 1/18 scale. Now, about putting these back on, so you want to do it a certain way, otherwise you'll be putting it on upside down. So I found out about like kind of orientating it like this, where the reins kind of do like a U shape like this, and the horse's head goes up under that, and then it kind of goes into the muzzle, so that the reins are over the back shoulders like this. And then I kind of push that up its muzzle. I do that ear first again. I found this order kind of works best. Then push that ear under the other side. And the reins are back on. Now the saddle can be a little bit harder, because it's just these kind of rubber pegs, but when you put it on, it's up against the horse really tight, so it's kind of hard to push that through. You might need to use tweezers for that. Oops. There's a little hole in the belly. I wonder... Huh, I'll have to try the stand on that then. Alright. So I loop that on there. I'm going to push that little peg through as best I can. If I really absolutely have to, I'll try to use the tweezers to get up under there to kind of help it. Give it some space and kind of help that through. So that it actually pops through and stays on. Now, I will say something about posing figures on these. These horses, they will stand up fine on their own, but as soon as you put a tiny bit of pressure on it, like if I set it down here and it's standing up, as soon as I put some pressure on it, its legs are going to start to bend. So if you have it posed a certain way, or only on 3 legs, you're going to start bending those legs, especially if you're trying to fit a figure on there. So what I found is just hold the horse up, pose your figure onto the saddle, take the figure back off the horse, repose your horse the way you want it, and then set your figure back onto the saddle. Another thing that I found is that the figures that I have that are both Joy Toy and other brands, those figures, like none of them were really able to put both feet through the stirrups. So I always just kind of kept their legs sitting back just because they weren't long enough to go through the stirrups. But otherwise it still looked pretty good putting them on the horse. So I'll actually set that brown horse down for right now. And we'll just take a quick look at the other 2 colors that we have here. So here's our white horse. And the white one was actually the first one I got in the mail. And when my power was out, when the tornadoes came through my neighborhood, I actually opened this one up. And between like the heat and the humidity in the air, when I had it displayed just on its legs alone, the kind of rubbery plastic that this is made out of kind of got a bit warm, and its leg bent a little bit and it took a tumble. So you're going to see some of these little marks. That's kind of, it didn't come out of the box like that. It kind of fell off a shelf when the power was out. But otherwise it came out of the box in pristine condition. But there are color variations. A little bit different coloring. It's got some gray around its muzzle there. Its hooves are a different color. The saddle is a different color, or at least the blanket underneath. So they're all the same design, just a different color variation. Of course, the little buckles are painted on there too, the little loops. This one's a bit harder to make the detail on it. It's just all black. Maybe they could have airbrushed some dirt or something on there. I don't know. It still looks nice, though. I like it. The saddle looks cool, though. I like those colors. Oh, yeah, I think the saddle on the other 2 were brown. This one's black. Yeah, that looks really cool. Now, I will mention that each horse came with a stand. I mean, out of the box, the stand looks like this. And if you don't manipulate or really modify it in any way. It just kind of plugs together like that. And unless you're going to have the horse on its hind legs trying to stand it up, and you can use that to help kind of balance it a little bit, but this doesn't really stand well on its own. Like, it has its own kind of weight to it. But then, like, the horse would be up here, and then this would be trying to hold the horse up. If you want the stand to kind of hold it up as it is, just kind of standing on its four legs, you have to take a small screwdriver and unscrew the screws, and then just kind of move these parts and put it back together in a way that you would want it, because I took these two parts off and I reassembled it. It's very easy. You just put the screws back in. Reassembled it like this. So that way I'd be able to just kind of have it holding it up under the hindquarters like that. And I think that actually looks pretty good, and it offers it a bit of stability. I think if I did that when the power had gone out, my white horse wouldn't have fallen off the shelf. But I didn't think to unscrew it at the time. Now, I do kind of want to show real quick, just for scale. Nice little common figure we have here is a stormtrooper. Now, the stormtrooper looks kind of small next to the horses, but the thing about horses are huge. So these are very much to scale, and you'll see how they actually look on the horses during the montage. Now, if I compare that with an actual Joy Toy figure, there's a World War II American paratrooper. So they are to scale, but of course they're large animals. So I think these are pretty cool, and I am happy to buy more than one of these. I'm just worried about those two small pegs in them. That's the only downside to these, really. Let's go ahead and move into a montage. So these horses look great. They have good articulation, albeit they may need some additional support from the stands that are provided depending on which pose I'm going for. They are detailed enough to look great in photos, and they are to scale with other 1/18 scale figures. What's also nice about these is that they can be used with any era, even though it was meant for the Jianghu warrior figures. It's also nice that the saddle and reins are removable, though removing the reins from around the ears needs to be done carefully. Still, my largest concerns are the small hair pegs between the shoulders and holding the tail, especially since the one hair peg had broken on me so easily already. I recommend not forcing any articulation, even if the product images show it can be done. Otherwise, I'm still happy with these horses. They're very cool. I'm glad I picked up multiples. I can form a posse or a small group of cavalry with these. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment. Would you want to see other breeds of horses made by JoyToy? What other kinds of animals could they make? Lions would be cool, or war elephants. This has been Heartless Spartan. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.